Meanwhile, the White House and the Pentagon are urging the House to move quickly in passing the Senate's $95 billion foreign aid package. This legislation includes more than $60 billion for Ukraine, $14 billion in security assistance for Israel, and nearly $5 billion for the Indo-Pacific region, which is what we want to get into right now. House Speaker Mike Johnson, however, is warning that it will not be getting a vote in the chamber in the current form. Here's what Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh had to say about that yesterday. Watch.
If we don't get this supplemental from the House, that means no more PDA packages for Ukraine, no more USAI packages and authorities for Ukraine, and of course that puts at risk also what we're able to do in the Indo-Pacific. So our allies and our adversaries are watching to see whether the U.S. will continue to stand with Ukraine, to stand with Taiwan, to stand with Israel.
And how about the wide open border and its implications? Joining me right now is the Gatestone Institute senior fellow, author of The Coming Collapse of China and China is Going to War, Gordon Chang, back with me this morning. Gordon, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And I know you want to really get into specifically that money going to the Indo-Pacific. Tell me about that.
Well, first of all, there are 3 compact states. The United States has a financial obligation to fund these compacts. This is Palau, Marshall Islands, Micronesia. These islands control Pacific. If China gets them, and China's really trying very hard, because it's saying to people in the islands, the U.S. is not funding its obligations, therefore you should ditch the U.S., go to China. That means China would have naval bases close to Hawaii, and that means we would not be able to get across the Pacific to Asia without encountering the Chinese.
So what you're saying is, look, the money should go, this supplemental package is important, particularly to ward off the dominance that we continue to see from communist China.
Right. And these compact states, it's $2.4 billion over 20 years. But the other issue, of course, is the border, as you've talked about, because across that border, we are seeing Chinese soldiers come across. And really what we're talking about is China putting together the infrastructure in the U.S. to attack the U.S. So clearly we've got to secure that border or we're going to be fighting on our own soil.
Well, it's just incredible to me that this administration refuses to acknowledge all these Chinese nationals that are coming through the border. They're creating a little mini army. And I'm wondering what the point is here. Are they trying to put people in place, I'm talking about communist China, so that when and if Donald Trump wins, they can create havoc in the streets and become saboteurs, starting wildfires and propaganda?
Absolutely. That lab in Reedley, California, the secret Chinese biological weapons facility, that can't be the only one that China has. And then you put together these images of recent Chinese migrants coming into the U.S. less than 3 weeks, taking target practice with sniper rifles and pistols. So really what we have here is the makings of a Chinese army, not in China, but in the United States itself. And the Biden administration is not tracking these people.
This is incredibly disturbing. And you said target. I know you just wrote a piece on this. If you are running from persecution, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have a place to live and you want to be safe. You're not exactly going to go pick up a rifle and start doing target practice, are you?
No, and we're hearing over the last week when we talked about this last, there are more and more reports of Chinese taking target practice in the U.S. So it's not just the ones that we saw in those images, it's also in Idaho.
It's unbelievable. The Wall Street Journal is out with a report titled China's Shipyards Are Ready for a Protracted War. America's aren't. They write this: while Chinese shipyards are thriving and primed to build at wartime rates, U.S. shipbuilding is in disarray. According to this report, Chinese military planners have leveraged the nation's shipbuilding empire to build up the world's largest navy. I've talked about this with General Jack Keane many times, who told me we are, bottom line, outgunned when it comes to the Navy in the U.S. versus the Chinese Navy.
Clearly, China has more ships than we do. You know, we say our ships are more capable, as the chief of naval operations said yesterday. But the point is, you know, when you have a lot of quantity, you can overwhelm quality. And really, this is a problem that's been decades in the making. But Biden doesn't seem to care about it because there is no push to really build American ships. You know, it's not just commercial ships, it's Navy ships as well. This is a problem because the Chinese can build ships like 300 times faster than we can.